These are the jokes, okay? They don't get any better. Hello and welcome to the 2011 finals version of A2NewTech. And look about you. If you see any students, admonish them. No? No students? I'm admonishing you, man. Your priority's in the right place. Once again, the organizers of A2NewTech, will you raise your hands, please? Wes, Roger, Doug have put a really big shoe together for us. And before we get started, I want to begin thanking our long list of very valuable sponsors, beginning with A2 Geeks. A2 Geeks is our host. We love A2 Geeks. Let's everybody just say, thanks, A2 Geeks.
Thanks, A2 Geeks.
Oh boy, did that sound enthusiastic. All right.
Well, think of the web.
Zell-Lurie Institute, the Center for Venture Capital and Private Equity Finance. Thank you, U of M Tech Transfer. Thank you, Momentum. Momentum actually gave us money, so I'm going to have to look at the camera and say, hey, Momentum, thank you very much. And don't forget, Momentum is hosting in Grand Rapids a Lean Startup Conference. That's on the 19th of May. Go to Momentum website to learn more about that. And we're going to have another New Tech actually before that date. So I'll be pumping this one twice. And then a reminder that our in-kind sponsor, Tech Brewery, wants us all to come to Beer 30s on Fridays and rub elbows with the fine entrepreneurs who inhabit that incubator, including one that will be presenting tonight, but I get ahead of myself. I want to big on Demian Lee. Demian has the distinction of being a very well-traveled entrepreneur. He has set foot on all the continents except Antarctica and Oceania, if you consider that a continent. And he landed in Ann Arbor because of the strength of the Korean community here. He's going to be joining TechArb in May, thanks to the fine offices of Mary and the folks who run that facility. Demian's going to tell us about VogueEnsemble, which is his recommendation engine for shoes and apparel. As you can tell, that's something I really need, so let's give it up for Demian Lee.
Can you guys all hear me? Yep. So first, thank you all for coming.
It's better if you get near this podium.
First, thank you all for coming. Hello, my name is Demian, and I'm the founder and president of VogueEnsemble. VogueEnsemble is a fashion product and size recommendation engine. After talking to over 100 female college students and other online shoppers, we realized that fit problem causes lower online purchases and higher product returns. So with our product, online shoppers can simply put the product and size information of the shoes that they're currently wearing and get product and size recommendations of new items. On top of that, they can ask product-related questions such as which shoe is better, or other trend-related questions to style-savvy users. From the retailer's perspective, they can send out more personalized online advertisements or promotional email by having access to their customers' size data. Well, that's so far. The description of our business is fairly simple, and as I mentioned there, our revenue source will be providing the data to the retailers. So now we have 5 members, including myself, are building the product, and we are about to launch our initial prototype. Well, starting this May, we are joining TechArb, and all 5 of us are going to work on the product over the summer. The reason I'm here is because I sincerely seek your support for finding future partnerships. Also, I hope this presentation will let me find more like-minded people who would be willing to join us establishing the future landscape of online shopping. Thank you.
Wow, that was great.
That's time allowed to be
right, fashion conscious questions, beginning here, then Kyle, then up here.
Are the fashions for both men and women?
Well, we are primarily focusing on, as of now, we're primarily focusing on female footwear products.
Don't you want a woman or two on your team?
Ouch.
Well, actually,
What's your point?
well, actually, there is my fashion industry advisor who's gonna join Bloomingdale's starting this August.
She'll be a member of your team.
Well, as an advisor, we can constantly get her advice, but there's no one who's going to be constantly with the team giving advice.
Can I see a demo?
Well,
Do you have a demo?
actually, I'm planning to launch the prototype at the showcase, which is going to be Thursday.
Awesome. No scoops? Come on, it's A2NewTech. Turn off the camera, Roger. We want to see it. All right, never mind.
So I think the fashion, the designer label is as important as the size, right? So it's not something you in the store. I mean, it's kind of says, you know, if you're buying a designer's styles, isn't it a recommendation engine for more than just sizes?
Yeah, we realized this, so we are first going to focus on, of course, popular products. Well, they're popular because they're selling a lot. So we recognize the importance of brand. But we are not a retailer, so we don't actually carry the product, so I don't think that will be a great call.
You don't carry the product. How do you make money?
Well, we gather the user size data, so when we gather, we own the data. So
How do you monetize the data?
we can either make the size product recommendation engine to be embeddable on other retailers' online websites,
They license it.
or we can partner with other online advertisement agencies, and we can build a product with including the size data.
All right. Holly?
You already asked it.
Okay, right here.
Who else is doing this?
Many existing solutions, or well, the existing solution now is that popular online shops such as ShopUp or Saks Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus, they hire fit models and they actually make them try on the product and give users size tips such as this product runs half size large or half size small. But there is a bit of a problem because they don't actually try all the shoes, and it's just few fit models trying on the shoes, so it's a bit subjective.
So you intend to be able to use each customer's fit patterns to sort of predict for other customers?
Well, actually, we asked the user, in order to get the accurate recommendation, we asked the users to input the product and size information of the shoes that they already have. And in the meantime, before we launch the prototype, we have been testing whether online shoppers are willing to provide the data, because that's something that they've never done before. So we actually ran SurveyMonkey, providing some incentives for people to input their data, and the result has been positive. So people are willing to provide us data, and we are trying to further make it easier and simpler for the users to indicate what exact shoe that they're wearing by letting them choose specific photos and making it as easy as possible.
Again, Holly.
What's your market?
Market size?
Yeah, what's your market size? Who would you target for this?
So if you are asking about online shopping market, the Forrester Research estimated that in 2014, U.S. online market, retail market will grow to $250 billion. And in 2008, more than $18 billion worth of apparel and shoes were sold online. And now there are over 400 million internet users in China, and there are over 100 million online shopping users in China. Actually, we are planning to target both US and Chinese market, but we are first gonna focus on US market before we move on to Chinese market.
Demian Lee, VogueEnsemble. All right, I'm going to invite David Lokshin up here while he gets set up. There are a huge number of activities and events coming up in the next couple of months for entrepreneurs and makers. And if we were to begin our interstitials between our presentations, I don't think we would get to the end of them before we get to the end of our presentations. I can think of a couple, but I see from the denizens here that there are several more. So what I want to do is begin this by announcing the Mini Maker Fair, the Ann Arbor Mini Maker Fair. Roger, are you on the committee for that one?
No?
What do you do?
This.
You just do that? All right. Who else is on the Mini Maker Fair committee? Because I'm on the A2 Geeks board, so we just see these things go by. I want somebody from the event to speak about the event. All right, begin with a clunker. They only go up from here. David Lokshin. David Lokshin apologizes in advance for being from Southern California and for returning to Southern California. We should not hold it against him, and we should give him excellent good marks while he's here. He has promised not to take any of our talent with him. He comes here as, I get the academic term is a trailing spouse, but he's not yet married to the woman who is getting a PhD in Ann Arbor, and that makes this adrenaline junkie, this calls himself a screw-up surfboard snowboarder, very portable guy. So he's doing AlpineReplay right here in Ann Arbor. It's a personal informatics site for extreme sports enthusiasts such as him. Nobody knows the field like David Lokshin.
Hey guys, I'm David Lokshin, here talking about AlpineReplay. Like David said, we do personal metrics for skiers and snowboarders, and eventually for extreme sports in general. Who in the room does some downhill skiing or snowboarding? Excellent. So basically what you do is you take out your phone right before you hit the slopes, you open up the app, and we record GPS and accelerometer data while you ski. You don't have to worry about it. You press the big play button, and you can take phone calls, you can surf the web while you're doing this. If you're not busy on a chairlift, making sure your kid isn't falling off, you can check some quick stats while you're on the phone. But the real fun begins when you come back home and you log into AlpineReplay. So this is the dashboard for my season. Unfortunately, I spent most of it coding instead of skiing. So I only have 6 days on here, but you can see that my maximum speed for the season was 45 miles per hour, done about 35,000 vertical feet. Nice little graph here telling me how I've been doing throughout the season. Then on the right here are just some basic profile things. So what I've been awarded for what I've done. So I've gone to some resorts, different resorts, gone pretty fast on some of my runs. And then below I have these, a news feed basically of what's going on with people who I ski with and who are my friends in the ski community. Now, I had some problems with the wireless light connection here, so I'm just going to browse through tabs, but please believe me, everything's clickable and works. So as you see here, Carl has uploaded a visit. Let's take a look at what Carl did. So here he is at Deer Valley. He went on some 15 runs or so, and we automatically take out the lifts, figure out when you were moving, when you were resting, things like that. So I have a short summary of the resort that I was on. If I click on any of the runs, I can see very detailed statistics about the runs. And we track anything from speed, how well you sustain it, calories, you name it, we got it, airtime, how high are you jumping, how far are you jumping, how far are you falling, all of that stuff. So the stats are basically your personal metrics, everything's about you. But we also have some social stuff. So if we went back and let's say click on Carl's profile, I could see how Carl ranks with everyone. Now Carl is a former US development ski team member, so he goes pretty fast and skis a lot, so he's #1 on basically everything. But if we find something, let's say sustained speed, #1 on that as well, all right? Average speed, he's #8, and you can see how people compare. We show the top 50 results. Also, if I want a little bit more of a micro view of how I compare to Carl or how I compare to my friends, let's say Carl, Mike, Anatole, and I went all skiing at one day. I can go to this head-to-head view and see who won. Right here, if we had all skied on the same day, you get to select your day. And as you can see, Carl kicks our asses, basically. But, if I was skiing with some of my friends, it might be a little bit more fair. And so we have these social components. There are a few more features that I won't go into, but the thing I'm actually most excited about is we can recreate your run in 3D. So basically, I go to the replay section and select your runs. Here I have Carl and my college roommate, Mike Codini, and I start the simulation. And what we do is we take a 3D model, the way it's used, let's say, in Xbox or PlayStation, and because we know where you were, what you were doing, how fast you were going, we can actually replay your runs in 3D. As I said, the wireless isn't great here, but basically what you would see is as if you were skiing in a video game. Right now, the team is 5 engineers, all nerding out on some code, where we took the season to beta test, so we had 50 skiers at 10 different resorts, skiing 3 times a week, giving us feedback, iterating the product. We will be launching actually in the Southern Hemisphere, in Australia and New Zealand, come July 1st, and then hoping to bring it back around for a home run season next season. And I'll take some questions while this loads. Eventually the 3D will play. Some people in the room have seen it, so it also works.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. I was just wondering, this information, it looks really interesting, and being a competitive person myself, that interests me. Are you keeping all the information, like people's scores and that, in a database, or where are you storing this information?
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely think that the power is in the information, so we do store it in a database, and we store things like how long you were waiting in line to how long you were resting, how long it took you to get off the chairlift. So we have all sorts of metrics on you personally, on resorts in general, things like that.
What kind of database, if I can ask? MySQL?
MySQL, yeah.
MySQL, okay. And what kind of a security are you? I'm sorry?
2 questions to a customer.
Oh, sorry,
That's bad,
sorry.
All right. 1, 2.
All right. How are you gathering your data on all these phones? Is it through a partnership, or how are you getting it?
What do you mean by, like, what kind of data? So it comes off your phone, GPS, accelerometer, things like that.
So, but vertical feed.
I mean, GPS gives you altitude, and you can, if you want to, some resorts, the ones where we have the most users, you can actually map where the chairlifts are. So we don't need really anything from the resorts.
So you can map models.
Yeah. Sorry the 3D didn't work. Oh, now nothing works, but in theory it does work. You guys can go to AlpineReplay.com to check it out.
2, 3, 4.
How are you monetizing all this?
Thank you.
So we started by thinking that we would do 3 days for free that you could upload, and then you'd have to pay $30 for a season pass. And then we went to a resort in Southern California asking them if we could use their season pass list. And they, of course, said yes, and we've had some really good success with them. And then they came back to us
They,
and
of course, said yes.
yeah, because, I mean, everyone who works at the thing about extreme sports and having grown up, like skiing and snowboarding and surfing, is if you play Little League, you know what your batting average is. You know how many runs you've scored. If you snowboard, I think I was in the air 10 feet. Like, when I kicked off this rail, that was really cool, but you don't have any metrics. So the people working at these resorts, when we show them that you can just use your phone, they're like jumping at it. They're running out of their office wanting to test it. But they came back to us to answer your question and said, what if we partnered? Because basically we got really lucky. Vail Resorts has this thing called Epic Mix, which is in all of their marketing brochures, all of their shareholder meetings, which is basically they have an RF tag in your season pass, and you get to know your vertical feet based on when you check into a lift. And every other resort is kind of shitting their pants because this is a $10 million hardware investment, and that's not the type of money that they can put up. So when we came to them and said, you can do all of this from your phone, they want to advertise, we have AlpineReplay, and also get some of the data. So, in theory, a year from now or 2 years from now when we develop the technology, we could say, hey, come to lunch, the lines are really short now. or we could say, the lift is shorter over here. So they want to partner us and pay us. So that seems like the way we'll probably be going. Sorry, that was really long.
Oh, good answer.
I saw when you pull up the lift, you have like Wasatch Express or something from the individual resort. So that data, did you entered that all in by hand?
Yeah, not I entered in by hand. There's a team that we've, I guess, contract to in Pakistan that does it all for us. So as soon as the resort becomes popular, they get the data to us. It automatically feeds into the database and goes from there.
Mary?
How do you figure out how many calories they burn?
Everyone asks that question. So it's basically like a combination of a polynomial function with step functions in between. Where did we get this? We read a paper off of Google Scholar, and then tweaked it. People seem to be believing it. I mean, when you're on a
paper, okay? The rest of us will make it up.
when you're on a treadmill, what does that really mean as well? You know what I mean? So it's we didn't just make it up. We got it from some professor who apparently strapped someone full of. Yeah. All right. Someone else made it up for us. There we go.
Mary? Then over.
Why Australia? Because if you look at the markets of where people ski, Japan is number 1, US is number 2, Europe is number 3, Australia and New Zealand is number 4, and we don't have snow in July, and they do. So that's the reason.
Last question.
Interactivity, when you're on the slopes, do you need it, or is it just long?
You need it. Yeah, you definitely need it. We haven't had a problem with it yet. It's something we're worried about, but it hasn't been a problem yet.
So are there, instead of putting up towers or something to get access?
No, I mean, if your cell phone works, if you can make a call, you can upload some data for us, or to us. Thanks, guys.
Lokshin,
Appreciate it.
AlpineReplay.
I'd like to say also, I am returning to Southern California, but Ann Arbor has been absolutely wonderful to me. Thanks, guys.
All right, while Tom Valenti gets set up, we're going to do announcements of upcoming entrepreneurial and maker events, and I'm going to ask for the first person who's got one to stand up and tell me about it. I'm dying up here. Help me out. Doug.
So for folks who were here last in A2NewTech, where we had actually filled this auditorium with Steve Blank here, we're also doing a Lean Startup Michigan conference called leanstartupmi.com over in Grand Rapids, and encourage everyone to go check that out. We are actually working on trying to line up sponsorships for student scholarships. And so if you're a student who wants to go, don't fret. We'll definitely be lining that up. The other big event that's coming up on, let me see, I think it's April 28th.
April 28th.
April 28th is Funded by Night. And I'm not sure how many people have seen that already, but Funded by Night is going to be in Detroit at Eastern Market, and it's a $100,000 pitch competition that's being sponsored by Detroit Venture Partners and Ludlow Ventures. So I encourage everyone to go check that out. It's being organized actually by 2 previous New Tech presenters, Raji Betty and Jeff Epstein.
And where do we check that out? Is that going to be linked off with New Tech?
Yeah, it's off the New Tech calendar, but it's also fundedbynight.com.
Fundedbynight.com. All right, Tom Valenti, who will have video in a moment, he's a tenant at the Tech Brew Collaboratory. He's from Plymouth, and he has a unique challenge with his startup, ConnectAde. There's really a plethora, I love that word, plethora of options for elder care services owing to wonderful demographic opportunity. He comes at it from a different angle. This is not how cultures care for lots of folks or how managed care screw lots of folks. This is how you care for your folks. He's making it personal. So for those of us of a certain age, this is going to be a very interesting presentation.
Okay.
So, take it away, Tom Valenti and ConnectAde.
I'm Tom Valenti. Tom Valenti, founder of ConnectAde. You're going to have to bear with me because I can't see it on my screen, so I'm going to have to look back a few times. But really exciting stuff so far. We're following up a skiing presentation. But now we're going to get really exciting, and we're going to talk about old people. But as people age, I wish. As people age, they're going to look to individuals to care for them. And they're going to look to you to have a plan and figure out how they're going to get by. And right now, 45 million Americans are currently helping an aging loved one with some aspect of living every week. So what does this do for you? Well, let's say this is your family. Dad lives in Michigan. You live out of state. Your siblings live all over the country. Dad's doing great right now, but all of a sudden something bad happens. He slips, he falls, or something worse, like he has a stroke. Your goal at that point is to get him to a point where he's stable, where he's comfortable, where you're happy with his care. But that journey is going to be a very long process, and it's going to be like a maze. You're not going to know what to do. You're completely unprepared for it. You and your siblings are going to argue a lot, and you're going to face lots of questions, and you're not going to have answers, and you're going to find that there's a lot of services in the area that can help you, but you just don't know how to get to them, and you don't have a lot of time. And that's where ConnectAde comes in. It's blown up a little bit here, so let me just, you type in your zip code, select Dad's ailment. Let's say he has a stroke. And things are very slow. And up pops your care action plan. This is your guide. This guides you through how to care for Dad. It gives you certain things to think about, breaks it down into simple steps. As you go through the steps, if something doesn't make sense, just drag your cursor over it, and the blue box will tell you a little bit more. As you go through, you can also, if you see something highlighted in blue, you can click on it, and hopefully a listing of all the services or professionals in your area will pop up. You can sort those by alphabetically, by distance, or by rating, so other users can rate and review their experiences with services. If you really like a service, you can add it to your preferred service list. And I'm going to go to a tab because it's taking too long. And you can go to your account profile where you can manage Dad's care. You can have Dad's important information, medications. There's your care action plans. You can share a calendar with family. And as I scroll down, you can discuss Dad's treatment and care. So at this point, you're probably wondering, okay, this is great. How does ConnectAde make money on this? And if you if we go through some of these, you'll see as a professional or a service, you can actually create your own profile, and you can load your information into the database here. If somebody wants to contact you, let me find one here. You'll show up first in the listings, and someone can click on your listing. They can see your information. If they can actually contact you through the site, you can actually upload additional pictures, your Facebook like box, and they can send you a message. When they send you that message, it gets sent to you, and you pay ConnectAde a lead generation fee for that sales lead. You can see there's also some ads on the side. Another way of making revenue is been contacted by some large consumer products companies that want to white label this or create a longer term relationship with their caregiving customers. So there's a variety of ways that we could look to make revenue, and I'm in the search phase right now. So why am I here? Well, I'm looking for feedback. I'd like to know what people think of the site. If you have experience, let me know what you think. Also, I built the site using a contractor, and to really take the site to where it needs to be, I need to build out a technical team, and also looking for investment. So please get in touch with me. Thanks.
John Valenti, did you rehearse that? Well, you did a great job. All right, 1, 2, 3, Tina.
Competition?
There are, the biggest on the online space is caring.com. I look at them a little bit differently. They're more of a content management system where they have a lot of blogs and they have a lot of articles. And you go through there and you can read a lot about incontinence or how to pick the best nursing home. But just like if you were cooking, you wouldn't read a book about cooking, you look for a recipe. So it does help you in terms of knowledge, but it doesn't give you that actionable information that you want right away.
No other direct competitors?
Other competitors, there's a lot of online databases that'll give you all the nursing homes in your area, but you have to know what you're looking for.
So I think your comment on the recipe is the killer app here, that here are the steps to follow. Why do I have confidence that you know the right steps?
I don't, but I know it better. I know it better than you do right now. This has been built.
Land of the blind.
This has been built through expertise, through talking through a lot of experts, gerontologists, social workers. That's how we put it together.
Any of whom are named on your site or are on your advisory board?
Not named on the site.
Okay, you can fix that. Tina?
You're storing medical information on your site, don't you have to worry about HIPAA?
There is the information that is stored. To the users, you make it very well known that they have to be certain that they're comfortable with the information that they post on there. Also, from the way I've been advised, is that it's better than an email. A lot of people put information on an email, and that is not secure. We can make the website secure, and I can talk to Doug about that.
We had a question over here. 4. All right, 5. You're up.
Me? Okay, hi. I was just wondering what database you use to store the information?
It's MySQL, or
MySQL.
how is it? How do you say it? MySQL?
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 Okay, MySQL actually.
MySQL.
Okay.
Up here?
Do you have a mechanism for rating the providers?
Excellent.
That's, the users can rate it through, it's actually a letter grade, through various criteria, and then, what's that?
Do you write reviews?
I don't write the reviews, no.
Can users write reviews?
Yeah, users can write the reviews.
And the users are the children of the old people.
Right, exactly.
How do the old people interact with this? What do we call them? Give me a better term.
Aging adults.
Aging adult. I love that. Hey, it's going to be used soon. It's ERA. Do the aging adults interact with it in any way?
They can post information if you're discussing, it depends on their tech savviness, but to the point, if you're using this site, they're to the point where they're probably not getting on the computer and using it. There's also a care action plan for, you can prepare for the future. So if you're a retiree right now in great health, but you want to put a plan together and say to your kids that this is what I'd like to happen, there's a way of doing that on the site.
David?
Is the database populated for the entire country, only certain zip codes?
Right now it's 15 states. It's upper Midwest all the way over to New York, New Jersey, and then Florida, California, and Texas right now. But any professional service can throw their listing up there.
Okay. And then,
I was going to ask, how do you kind of manage the supply and demand as you go in the marketplace so that your supply is greater than your demand and vice versa?
The supply on these.
So like if I go on and my dad has cancer in Ann Arbor and there's no supply, there's no one in the area, I'm not going to come back. I'm going to be like, this doesn't have enough information for me. On the other hand, if I'm a cancer center or a place for my dad to live in Ann Arbor and there's not enough patients coming my way, I'm going to leave the marketplace. So how are you going to ensure that the supply and demand match up as you grow?
I mean, that's a problem. That's a problem I think is beyond what ConnectAde can fix. If there's not services in your area, that's not something that we can't create.
About ConnectAde deal flow?
We can't create the
Yeah,
service.
you said you've got the Midwest and you don't have the entire country providers on there, but if someone from one of those areas where you don't have the supply listed comes on the site,
Okay.
then I guess that's what I'm referring to.
Right. That's They can still use the benefit of the site through the CARE action plan in terms of knowing what to do. They just can't make the connection right now to the services in their area. They can also use the account profile page to communicate with family and share the calendar and that type of thing. But it's limited right now, and just going to have to build up the database.
Let me squeeze in Ed, because that was a double question from Mary.
Having been through this issue with my mother, I think it's a great idea. Any thoughts on how you're going to get to critical mass in a market?
Establishing partnerships with a lot of organizations, whether they be hospitals, nonprofits, is one way to go about it. I think the co-branding idea or partnership idea with some larger companies is a way to build up that critical mass, as well as HR departments at companies that are dealing with employees that are struggling with caring for parents or their aging loved ones.
Tom Valenti, ConnectAde. All right, while Mark gets set up, the date for Ann Arbor Mini Maker Fair is the 18th of June at the Ann Arbor, or the Saline Farm Council grounds. Is that right? I keep asking Roger this. He doesn't know. And this is a build-up to the Detroit Maker Fair. Go to Maker Fair, that's a fair with an E in the end, .com. The O'Reilly publication, Make Magazine, puts on one of its 3 global maker fairs in Detroit the last weekend of July. That's interesting. Where's the Hubski part from? Here we go. So Mark hails from Rochester by way of Boston and back to Ann Arbor, where he hangs out, he paints, he does neurology research. If you're familiar with the blog, or if you missed the blog Under Odysseus, that was Mark. And he's here to talk about a community for thoughtful conversation. Let's give it up for Mark Katakowski and Hubski.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. My name is Mark Katakowski, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my first foray into web app development. I am a researcher by trade. I do neurology research. But the social web space really fascinates me. And about 5 months ago, I started to teach myself to code to get into it. And this is where I'm at. What I'm going to talk about is called Hubski. And yeah, my last name is Mark Katakowski, and I think ski should be the name. So, what is Hubski? Well, Hubski, in short, it's a community for thoughtful content and conversation. Trying to square the circle, trying to get thoughtful conversation on the web. And why would I do this? This is what Hubski is. It's a news aggregator. It's an information aggregator. I wouldn't say so much news, but so much information. We share information, ideas, things we found. People discuss it, vote it up, vote it down. I'm sure that many of you are familiar with aggregators such as Dig and Reddit, Hacker News. I've been interested in those for a long time. Been a user of Reddit for a long time. But I think the space is actually pretty nascent. I think that although there's some services that are pretty mature in it, I think that the idea of crowdsourced information analysis is still got a long way to go, and there's a lot of potential there for it. The reason why I started building Hubski was because personally I wanted a site like it. I have got a diverse interest. I want to talk about Mars landings. I want to talk about Dickens. I've had a hard time finding a place that you can meet people that are interested in a broad range of topics. And beyond just the topics, a place that also has some focus upon the personalities behind this. A lot of times you end up reading stories, thoughts, and submissions from people on some of these types of sites. And you don't really make any connection with the people that are submitting them. And this is my favorite thing that happens when you're sharing information on the web with people. Sometimes you get an article, and you read it, and after reading it, you come away with an opinion, you come away with a perspective, and then you go to this discussion about it, and you read something that just turns your opinion, your perspective on its head. And that's really that's the value that I'm trying to target with Hubski. So what is interesting about Hubski besides what I'm trying to do with it? Well, it is a news aggregator. People submit ideas and content. We have a couple of neat UI things a couple of neat UI things going on here, interface. But there's organic tagging, kind of hashtagging, you might find on Twitter. So when somebody submits an article, they can tag it with what they want, and like in this case, science. And then you can click on it, tag anybody that's submitted an article, tag with science, it'll pull up. You can follow tags, and you can also follow people. And then you can get your own personalized feed. I really should be signed in at the moment, but you can get your own personalized feed, which will have kind of your own personalized submissions or filter of submissions. But then also, it's a little bit different. Is when people submit. So when people submit things, it's not just a list of your submissions. It's a little more log-like. So in a sense, this is kind of like marrying a blog with a news aggregator, and kind of encouragement of more lengthy, more thoughtful conversations and submissions. You can see here, these are a list of, this is mine. And I actually use Hubski now as my personal blog. And let's see, what else do we have? Similar to some sites, there is a karma system. There is a way to kind of share, appreciation and should think, disapproval. And karma in this though is a currency. You have to earn it, and you spend it when you vote, and you can run out. And if people aren't appreciating what you're giving, karma is converted to a non-spendable cloud. Okay, and so what happens is every day you come on Hubski, you earn a little bit more karma, a little more gets deposited in your account. But if you have accumulated a lot of clout, and or a lot of followers, people that follow your submissions, then you earn a little more karma every day. And so therefore, people that are trusted, people that are appreciated, get a little more currency to develop the site, programs. And so that's where I'm at right now. The site's open and it's running. What are my future plans? Where I'm at? Well, it's been going about for 3 months, and we have a small but pretty energetic, group of submitting some good things to it. And right now, I really just want to follow the usage. I want to get to the point where it's out there, see how people are using it, and kind of develop my ideas alongside, the use. One thing right now I'm working on is kind of enhancing the inter-user connection. So if you are following certain tags, topics, certain submissions, and someone else is, well then I'm working to enhance your communications when you do communicate with people that share similar thing. And so that's where I'm at.
You also erased it. You came in right at 5 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, he's surprised. Questions for Mark? Doug.
So a site that I've seen similar to this that was a Y Combinator company was Slinkset, and Slinkset was bought by Posterous, and Posterous unfortunately is shutting down Slinkset. Have you been contacted by any Slinkset users about and is your platform actually multi-tenant in a way that you can actually host other hubs, I guess, or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought about it. I think I'm below a lot of radars right now. If everybody signs up, I think we'll have twice as many users. So, but yeah, it's a really good thought. I think the one problem will be is if it does get expensive to run this, and I do need to monetize it. That might be an issue, with as far as where you can put some kind of content ads or something.
So how do you get more people onto this? Like, how do people find out about Hubski? Do you have any strategy for? Well, I don't know if it's marketing, but maybe kind of social media.
Right. Well, I'm here today, so this is my first presentation. So this is my first step. I have. So if you go to, here we are. I have started with some things. You go to here's some people commenting on my posts. And here we've got Facebook and Twitter, so if you like it, you can share it on Facebook and Twitter. And it started to happen some, brought some people that way. One thing I found too that is also people will submit something and talk about it. And a lot of times these are like blog posts elsewhere, and then you'll find people coming. I think what happens often too is people find that they're being discussed, and so they will find it coming through that.
Demian? Okay, so why would someone use your website instead of creating their own website, own blogs, and using other websites such as blog blogging, which
Right.
you follow exactly blogs?
Right. Well, so I had a blog, and there was a long time I was blogging into a vacuum, and there's been some things that address that, but here, so if you're going to provide quality content, it's automatically you're kind of blogging into an audience, and if you're submitting something quality, the second post can be recognized. And so I think it's kind of the advantage of something like this.
With your recognition system, or karma, or whatever you call it,
Right.
have you put any thought into giving more value to a particular person? Say, I like what Bill posts. I don't like what Fred does.
Right.
So I give him more credit than personally. I want to see things that he says.
You mean me?
Not what he says.
You mean just me as the
Well, as an individual.
Right.
So,
right.
so
well,
it's
yeah.
relative value is based on what you like versus what somebody else did.
Right. So that's a good point. One thing you can do is you can just simply you can vote for people stuff that they like, and they're going to get more karma themselves, and they can influence the site more. You can also you can subscribe to things to them, and so therefore they're part of your feed, your personalized version of the site. But yeah, that it does go to something that I'm working on right now is that, and it's kind of half-baked at the moment, but I'm trying to work on when people are discussing and with each other, and they share like a commonality, that there's going to be some enhancements to their threads, to how they can communicate to each other. Kind of, yeah.
We have time for one more if you keep it quick.
Yeah, my question was, so how do you keep the discussion thoughtful?
Right. Well,
Now you have
I mean, that is the trick. One way, I think, there's probably multiple ways, but two of the most that I can think of at the moment is one is just firstly establishing a good culture from the get-go. There's a site, I don't know if you're familiar with, Hacker News, which is, for a lot of these people, a place where you can really find out what's going on in the space, the startup space, and the technology space. And although there's not much built into the site to guarantee that, except for just accepted norms, it's really held to a pretty large audience. And then beyond that, it's having empowering moderators, and then the scoring system.
Good question. Keep it up. Mark Katakowski, Hubski. Okay, while Adam Kempa comes up and sets up his laptop ski, I want to tell you about some of the roundtable ski events that are happening in the next month. The Marketing Roundtable is in its 5th year, and Spark has seen clear to clone it several times and come up with other roundtable skis that it wants to play with. And the next one is the CFO Roundtable. Unlike all other roundtables, this one meets at 7:30 in the morning. If you've ever gone to Cafe Zola for breakfast, you'll know why. So the CFO Roundtable, Sally Small will be presenting on financial planning. That's 7:30 in the morning on April the 28th. For you late risers, come to the Michigan Energy Forum for offshore wind program. That's actually going to be a really good one. Chris Hart from the DOE is going to basically do an assay of all the offshore wind in Michigan and tell us why it's got to happen here.
Sorry, where is that?
These are all events are at Ann Arbor Spark. Go to annarborusa.org and click on events for these roundtable events. I've got 2 more, but looks like he's having some technical difficulties, so we'll just keep going. Tuesday of the month, which was last week, or in 4 weeks is Open Coffee in the Morning and Nights of the Marketing Roundtable. Sam Fine is going to do a topic on May the 10th, which is close to all of our hearts. It's co-branding and co-marketing, or basically how to rely on somebody else to do the hard thing. On his program will be one of our presenters from A2NewTech, Joost Allard, and he's going to have a couple of entrepreneurs up there and a couple of marketing goons talking about co-branding and co-marketing.
And what date is that? I'm sorry.
This is May the 10th, Tuesday, May the 10th, 5 p.m. at Ann Arbor Spa. And then the last roundtable here is Business Law and Order. That's their law roundtable. They're doing a program on commercial loans. Frank Parkinson is going to talk about the ups and downs and sidewayses, mostly sidewayses of commercial loans. On his panel is my close friend and colleague, Steve Rich. And Roger's giving me the let's go signal. So let me turn it over to Adam Kempa from WhatWasThere. Adam, he was born in Oklahoma, then moved to Livonia. He works for Enlighten. And let's hear more about WhatWasThere.
All right, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about WhatWasThere. WhatWasThere is a website and a mobile application that we've been working on at a company called Enlighten here in Ann Arbor. So a little background first. As organizations like libraries and archives have been busy making this digital transition over the past decade or so, they've been bringing a lot of their special collections online. And so what that means is today we find ourselves with access to extensive digital collections of historic photography. And usually when you go check them out, they're presented in a sort of standardized form like this. This is the Library of Congress site. So the idea of WhatWasThere is to take all these images in these collections and to put them into a more sort of user-friendly and location-specific context using things like Google Maps and Google Street View. Does everybody know what Street View is? Is there anybody who doesn't know? All right, so it's essentially this 3D-ish imagery that Google has shot by these cars as they go down the streets. And we use this really as sort of our modern-day backdrop for the visualizations that we're trying to do with WhatWasThere. So with the Street View imagery, we're able to take historic photographs like this. This is the Detroit Club in downtown Detroit in the 1890s. We're able to put it directly into the modern-day context of what is there. And once we've done that, we're also able to transition nicely between the two. And that's what it looks like the last time the Google car went through. So we got this technology. The next thing we wanted to do was to try and build out a world map that users could explore and kind of see all these transitions as we got them. So from a high level, this is sort of how that user experience plays out. Each image that we have plotted is an orange marker on the map. And if you click it, you get a thumbnail with some information about it. And then you can click in to go into Street View. And you can use that green fader up along the top to do the transition from then to now. That's the Washington Monument when it was under construction and as it appears now. And then there's also a details view where you can toggle in to see a description, source attribution, which we're finding is very important with these collections, all that fun stuff. And so what happens when you start to place lots and lots of these images in the same general area is you start to get a sort of visual history built up of how that area grew. And because of Street View, you can sort of navigate through it with your arrow keys. You can navigate through that history that way. And these are just a couple other examples. You know, I showed you an example of going then to now and comparing sort of architecture, but we've also found that this is good for representing events in history that have been photographed. This is a train accident that happened in Ireland, and you can see that the building is still there today. It's just been repaired. This next one is another really cool one. We got this by working with a photo historian in France, and this is a Sherman tank coming down the road in the north of France during World War II. You can see that the right hand of the street is pretty much intact there. So these are some of the visualizations we got when we started to take this stuff to the web. And the next thing we wanted to do was see how we could translate that work into the mobile space and bring it into the physical world. So we've got, you know, every day more and more people have an internet connection and a GPS hookup in their pockets. And now we've got this database of precisely placed imagery. And so for us, the next step is obvious. It was to bring these two, marry them together into an application. And so the application calls out, tells the database where it is, where the device is rather, and then the database responds with a map plotting everything that we have in the database nearby. And another thing we built into the mobile experience is an augmented reality sort of way to surface the data. And so each dot on this view here represents a placed photograph. And it's laid over a live feed from the device's camera. So if you were to pivot like this, those dots would reorient in real time to kind of show you where that photo was with respect to where you're pointing your camera. And one of the best bits of feedback we get from people who use the web version is they really like the tactile sort of fading between the two times. And so we've also built that into the web, or into the mobile version rather. And so if you do find yourself directly on the spot where a photograph is taken, you can hold up your phone and fade between that view and what you're seeing through your camera. So we built out the web visualizations, we built out the mobile piece, and now the next thing we wanted to look at was getting people's data into it. So letting people log in, contribute to the experience. And that's really what we see spreading it. We're working with libraries, archives, some genealogical folks, and really just individuals with a passion for history where they are, and that's what's populating the map so far.
Adam Kempa, WhatWasThere? One. I saw him. Go.
How do you get all the pictures into the right orientation with respect to the street view? Is it an algorithm computer?
It's not automated. What we did was we built tools for users to create accounts and upload these and orient them, place them on a map, all that stuff. So there's a user interface for placing photos in the correct orientation.
So the ones that were there now are placed by you guys?
Some were placed by us, some were placed by users. We've
librarian users.
Some librarian users, some just individuals. We've had the website live since October, and so we've been sort of seeding it with that and trying to spread to historical communities around the country that way.
Right here.
Any thought of using newsreel footage or movies, that kind of thing?
That has come up in sort of our blue sky conversations, putting a video piece to it, but it's not something that we support right now, at least.
Mary.
How do you make money?
Thank you. Good question. Right now, we're really in sort of the social experiment phase of this. We just got the web and the mobile pieces, which were the vision was to have both done. This is sort of a project that's coming from a small team within a larger agency, so we're really exploring and trying to answer that question ourselves. All right.
Date information. So how recent do you allow, and then how?
Sure. We allow as recent as yesterday.
Oh, okay.
As of right now, there's not a way to filter by date, but that's in the sort of features that are under development, so you can limit the results on the map to only a certain time period.
There was a flame thread on Google Forums about when, I don't know if this is true with the drive-bys on Street View, but the satellite shots, how there's a kind of a opaque update going on with Google Maps satellite view all the time, and you can't roll it back.
Yes, that is true.
Right here.
What other uses are you thinking of for this?
We've talked about a lot of features. Most of what we're seeing is sort of growing the contextual coverage and sort of using it in maybe educational settings, partnering with libraries, that sort of thing. Really, right now, the thrust is in putting these collections in a more usable context. And then once we've, we're really happy with what we're seeing as we go down that path, and we're trying to sort of see where that leads us. David?
I doubt this could be a very big market, but I would love to take a World War II augmented reality tour of Paris. I would definitely pay for something like that.
That's definitely something, one of the other many items on our backlog, our parking lot list, is to sort of put in tours where you can sort of identify multiple photographs and kind of tour through them.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. If you could like tell me to walk down the street and show me what it looked like in 1945.
Sure.
And Swiss theater or whatnot, that'd be awesome.
Wes?
In terms of quality of images uploaded, how do you verify that they are quality images and not something obscene or something that someone else is?
So there's a couple. I mean, in the infancy of the project, we were literally scanning them as they came in manually. There is an icon to flag images as inappropriate or incorrect, that kind of thing.
As community policing.
Yes.
Doug and then Daniel.
There's a company called Occipital by two guys out of Ann Arbor. They made the #1 paid iPhone app, the Red Laser barcode scanning app. But one of the other things they did previous was a Microsoft PhotoSynth competitor where they could actually take a bunch of photos in any orientation and stitch them together in a 3D representation. You might talk to those guys because they're doing some other AR stuff with mobile that I know, at least for Red Laser, they'd actually license that software stack to any software developer, and they may be doing the same thing with some of the AR stuff.
Doug, you make that answer.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Do you have any plan for partnering with other tour guides such as Lonely Planet? Yeah, can't hear that.
Say again, Damian.
Do you have any plan for partnering with other tour guides?
Planning for partnering with other tour guides
Such as Lonely Planet?
Sure.
other than Lonely Planet.
That's something that we would definitely be open to. We're kind of taking things as they come. If somebody were interested in partnering with us, it's certainly something we'd be open to talking about.
Roger, bring it home.
Do you have a facility to show several time periods of the same spot?
We do right now. Right now, the way it works is if you get to a spot that has multiple time periods, there's arrows on the side and you can cycle through them. We're hoping to develop that further and sort of more of a fading.
Yeah, add the fourth dimension. Right.
Adam Kempa, what was there? I'm so glad we had this time together. It's been another stellar A2NewTech. Give yourselves a hand for dodging the students and coming anyway. Check A2NewTech.org for our next exciting installment for May. 5 more entrepreneurs who have got a very much higher bar than to cross than they did last month, thanks to the 5 presenters. Let's give them all a hand. Thank you, A2NewTech, ZLI. Thank you, U of M Tech Transfer and Momentum. I expect to see every one of you at Tech Brewery for Beer 30 on Friday. I've made as many announcements as I'm going to make. Who else? Going once.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. What is Taco Tuesday, Roger?
All right, so after this, do you want to go, Roger?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do Taco Tuesday tonight after this. It's at Sabor Latino. Sabor Latino is on Main Street. It's about a block and a half north of Huron, right next to Heidelberg. If you have any concerns about getting there, let us know. Let me know, or Roger will know where it is.
Going to have a conga line from here all the way over there?
Maybe.
All right. Watch out for the unionized mafia die squad.
Dollar tacos.
Dollar tacos. Doug? Oh, I can't believe it. You're out?
Well, we have one office left at the Tech Brewery, so if it is, and we have about 30 companies there already. If there are any folks that are looking for space, we have space for a team of 6.
That is the hot spot now. I got a company in there, and they're having a fun time. Xander?
If you want to be at Detroit Maker Fair, but don't want your own booth, let me know, because All Hands Act will have a very large booth, and we can probably give you like 2 feet of table space to show off what you're going to do.
It's about like 1 seat width.
That's 1 seat width, yes. That's enough to have a computer and a laptop.
Right, and that's at Maker Fair or that Mini Maker?
Detroit Maker Fair, and probably also for Mini Maker Fair as well.
All Hands Active is?
Your local hackerspace. Very tiny, mostly friendly.
There's A2NewTech, which is a spin-off of this group. It's the first, Wednesday of the month? So anybody that's in the Detroit area or wants to go down there, it's a very similar format, but also with a speaker for 15 minutes who talks about entrepreneurship.
Website?
A2NewTech.org.
DNEWTECH. TH.
Yeah, it's like A2NewTech, but just a
Only with a
D.
D.
Yeah.
On a similar note, Hackers and Hustlers is in Lansing tomorrow night. It's another A2NewTech spin-off kind of thing. Hackers and Hustlers on Facebook.
Okay, you're going to have to tell us what they do.
It's A2NewTech, same format. 5 speakers, 10 minutes each.
As you know, they shut down Poker Stars over the weekend. Going once, going twice. We stand adjourned. Taco Tuesday. Everybody go.